Welcome to the San Diego Business Journal's Community of Business podcast, covering all of the vibrant business activity in the greater San Diego metropolitan area. And now, here are your hosts, Kevin Leet, publisher, and Jeff Clementson, editor-in-chief.
Welcome, everyone, to the San Diego Business Journal Community Business Podcast. I'm your host, editor-in-chief, Jeff Clementson. And today, our special guest is Hayden Spencer, the MEP coordinator for BNBuilders. Welcome, Hayden.
Thanks, Jeff. Happy to be here.
I guess for our listeners, let's just start off with a little bit about yourself. What's your background? And more importantly, what does an MEP coordinator do?
Yeah, good question. So I graduated from the University of San Diego with a degree in mechanical engineering just over 8 years ago. And I've been working in the construction industry ever since. Now as an MEP coordinator for BNBuilders, I oversee all of our mechanical, electrical, plumbing system installations from pre-construction when the owner dreams of a project all the way through when it gets delivered to the very end goal of giving them a building they can confidently own and operate, really.
And I take it that BNBuilders has put in a lot of effort in technology lately. What is the overall philosophy of BNBuilders in as far as what do they do for customers? What are some of the approaches it takes to some of these large projects? And we'll get into some of those projects later.
Yeah. So B&B is a very client-driven, client-focused general contractor. So we tailor however we approach a project specific to the needs of that client, whether they be a large life science market sector client or higher education or healthcare. All those different industries have a lot of different priorities and needs. And that's where I come into play of organizing all of our systems in a way that supports that client specifically. So we deploy a lot of different tools, whether it be our 3D coordination process and a platform called Revisto that lets us do real-time coordination with people that might not understand construction documents. And we can take that and make sure that we're meeting the needs of the facilities people, the owners, operators, whether they insource or outsource maintenance needs, and can really apply it to both technical and non-technical projects so that the project's on time and on budget ultimately.
And so what are some of the ways that BNBuilders helps clients with their different approaches, their different needs? I imagine some need architectural support. What are the different ways that you help clients?
We will meet with them early on when they first think of wanting or needing a project in their facility, whether it be a new building or a tenant improvement project, and help guide them as to when they should bring contractors on board. So we've got a great project right now with the San Diego Community College District at Miramar Performing Arts Center, where it's a progressive design build. So we are involved from the immediate dream of a building, and we're in the schematic design phase now. So we're providing feedback real time, helping to define what that building's going to be and make sure it meets their needs. And then there's other projects that are some of the smaller ones, like we have projects at Sharp Healthcare right now where we got brought in a little bit later because they knew the building, they knew how to coordinate with the architecture team up front, and we're able to come in later, and it keeps our costs down early on in the project and helps meet their needs for a smaller project like that. So we can do all kinds of different approaches: design assist, progressive design build, traditional design build, all the different kinds to make sure that the project gets what it needs.
And what are some of the specific things on like, let's say the community college project that you do specifically? What kind of technologies are going into these buildings? What are some of the fun stuff that you're doing?
Well, a cool one on the Performing Arts Center is the audio-visual systems. When you get into theaters, we're laying out where the speakers go, helping provide feedback as to how we're routing all of the different AV cables. It's amazing what happens when you look above a ceiling and get to see all the different things that go into making a speaker system work or a theatrical stage smoke system work, so that you get all the cool pyrotechnics in a theater and whether they need it or don't need it. And you can help provide that feedback along the way. So I'm there coordinating those different systems, making sure all the electrical infrastructure is there to support a state-of-the-art speaker system, or make sure that if we have a lesser speaker system, it gets the appropriate attention.
Wow, that sounds exciting. And what about like the Sharp? What would a hospital need it's everything's high tech now, but what do the medical facilities like Sharp or a life science building need?
Yeah, so a lot of projects like that, they will make sure they have redundancies in their systems. So if somebody's in surgery and a system goes down, you have redundancies in place to make sure that the operation still goes smoothly. So that's some of their priorities, whereas a theater, you don't necessarily need the HVAC system to be fully redundant. But in a hospital setting where you have critical life-changing things happening on a daily basis, you got to make sure that you have HVAC systems that continue to operate 24/7, make sure your medical air systems are fully operational and in place. And if it goes down, what happens? And so that's a lot of what we come in with, that feedback of, we're looking not only at the design for how it operates during normal operation, but when it hits emergency operation, what give do you have in systems? Because you can't size a building to be 100% redundant all the time. There's give and take. So whether it be the electrical infrastructure that makes sure that CT scanners and MRI machines don't go down, or makes sure that the HVAC system for operating rooms might be a higher priority for Sharp, for example.
Wow. And then there was another project I know we did reporting on, was the county's public health lab. And I understand there was some interesting technical aspects to that building, and it all came about like during the pandemic. Like, what was the story behind that?
Yeah, so that was a really cool project. The county health lab is a BSL-3 lab, which is made for infectious disease control. So when COVID came up and the whole world was trying to figure out how do you address it, there was a big need that everybody realized we didn't have enough infrastructure of, to where we could actually bring infectious diseases to an environment that you could do research on, figure out how to treat it, and develop cures for. And so this lab allows the county of San Diego to have a place where people can come in, and you're bringing infectious diseases into this environment, but keeping everybody safe while you're doing it, and gives us the ability in San Diego to be at the forefront of how do we address potential issues that may arise to the general health of the population.
Interesting. And so how do you coordinate with other people? Like, I imagine a lot of these projects are in partnership with lots of people. What are some of the partners that help you with some of these projects, and how do you coordinate with them?
Yeah, we have a lot of great partners. So the Miramar project, for example, we have Miller Hull as the architecture firm, and GluMac is the engineers on the MEP side. And we work with them to agree on, and the owner, on when's the right time to bring trade partners in. And we work with all of our mechanical contractors and electrical contractors around to decide when does it make sense to bring them on for their constructability feedback and expertise. And luckily at B&B, we have our own in-house expertise with, that's my role as the MEP coordinator, and a couple of others in our department. So we're able to strategically deploy all of us to different sectors of the market where we all excel at, and work with design teams and owners up front. And the big thing is getting in front of the end users and facilities teams, to where we can understand, especially in a tenant improvement environment, what do you like about your building? What do you not like about your building? How can we help you along the journey of this project from what might be a minor budget impact, but provide you huge benefits down the road and taking it over?
Speaking of tenant improvement, I know that, like, because of the massive amount of push for AI, I imagine there's a lot of building owners, property owners looking into how they can incorporate some of this infrastructure into their existing buildings, build brand new infrastructure. What's B&B's role in kind of developing this level of technology and the next level of technology, if you will?
Yeah, so with AI coming into the marketplace and different companies looking for how they can leverage it for their benefit, when you think about tenant improvement projects and new buildings, you have to really consider the electrical infrastructure primarily. And when that comes into play, if you look at existing buildings, we're helping them go through campus utility studies and validating whether their existing electrical service is sufficient, or if it needs to be upgraded or upsized, and in which case we have to work with SDG&E and make sure that the upstream service is sufficient enough to support that need. And then downstream from that, you have to look into the fact of whether are you future-proofing enough, or are you future-proofing too much? Where we're seeing a lot of clients go is, with AI coming in, no one really knows what's the electrical infrastructure need going to be 5-10 years from now. And so you see a lot of clients that have a lot of money behind them just trying to build in that future proofing now. So you get labs and other areas that have a ton of circuits all the way throughout the floor plate, and you might need it, you might not. They're just trying to build it in now and pay for it up front so that they don't get caught down the road paying more money that they could have prevented by just doing it now.
And what about like renewable generation projects? Is that all part of that as well?
Pretty close. Solar is a big thing in San Diego, and we get a lot of sunshine, so it helps a lot. You see a lot of people putting solar on top of parking structures and other areas. Like a lot of people are taking the roof space that you can't put anything on because you can't maintain it. So they will put solar fields out there, and you don't need to have as much regular maintenance and access to those. So they're taking that unusable space and maximizing it with solar. And then we're getting into all the different battery energy storage systems. And so from B&B's perspective, we're able to help clients plan out where that goes. How does that tie into your existing building infrastructure, and making sure that you're leveraging it to its maximum capacity, and hopefully avoiding some service utility upgrades that might not be necessary if you can leverage renewable resources.
And preparing for those data center needs of the future that all at the same time. And specifically in data centers, how does B&B approach delivering for clients who have maybe specific needs?
Yeah, good question. So we have a dedicated mission critical team that's placed in different areas throughout California and Seattle and Denver, where they focus on the delivery of data center projects and are ready to be deployed wherever the industry may require them to go. And they are people with deep data center backgrounds and the technical expertise to help owners make design decisions early on and make sure that the data center is built to their needs. And that team's always ready to go.
What kind of people work on those teams?
People like myself, MEP coordinators. We have an MEP director out of Colorado who's awesome, and he comes with a lot of deep knowledge on data center projects. We have a project executive who is dedicated to mission critical work, as well as a couple of directors and engineers.
So in this world of, high tech data centers coming, what other aspects besides like energy storage might buildings be looking to do to be prepared for this future?
A lot of people are looking at their HVAC strategies and aligning them with their own sustainability goals and what that might all entail. So you see a lot of buildings that might have gas heating sources and things like that. And there's new Title 24 regulations, which is our generally energy code in California, where gas is becoming a thing of the past because of a fossil fuel regeneration need. And instead, where they're turning to air source heat pumps and using electric and refrigeration for generation of cooling and heating. And so when you look at data centers, you're looking at how can I cool this space as efficiently as possible, because that's one of the major drivers of what requires all the energy usage in a data center is just keeping it cool. And so as you're putting it into these existing buildings, it becomes a real challenge of making sure that not only that space, but all the adjacent spaces are cool and within noise requirements. So as you're building that infrastructure in, you're not disturbing your offices and tenant spaces surrounding it.
Yeah, and the plumbing, because water usage might change with data center uses.
Yep.
Well.
Also.
And so what is next for B&B in the technical aspect? Are we building on the moon? What's
maybe one day, maybe one day. For now, we're focused on finding out how we can be the most innovative and technical builder for our clients, and looking into all the different ways that we can integrate AI and other advantages into the way we build projects, and using things like our Dusty layout systems, where we're using not only our own layout, but all of our trade partners. And that's one way we've integrated AI, and we're just trying to find what's the next best thing to help us be more efficient and deliver a higher quality end product to our clients.
Well, Hayden, thank you so much for joining us today. That was very fascinating. And best of luck to you and BNBuilders. Thank you all for joining us today on the Community Business Podcast.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure being here.
This has been a podcast from the San Diego Business Journal, the community of business. Keep watch on the journal's website, sdbj.com, for this and other podcasts, past and future. Copyright San Diego Business Journal, all rights reserved.